What's up, guys? This is GK Cooking, back with another episode. Tonight we're doing a culmination of flavors. We're going to be mixing pizza with korma for my very own chicken korma pizza. Also, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, let's get rocking and rolling. So step number one, we're gonna go ahead and get the dough going. Get yourself a nice big bowl, because once this dough starts to rise, it's gonna really take up that whole thing. So first off, you wanna proof your yeast. Essentially what that means is just allowing the yeast to activate. So we're gonna use active yeast. We have a tablespoon of that. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in the bowl. I'm gonna mix in 1 cup of water, and you want this water to be warm. Roughly about 105 to 110 degrees is ideal for this type of dough. And again, this is a quick dough that we're doing, so mix that in, as well as 1 tablespoon of sugar. What you want to do is just mix it real good until it's all dissolved. All right, guys, now we're just going to set this aside for about 5 to 10 minutes until the yeast starts to foam up. As you can see, the yeast is starting to activate. That's why there's little bubbles rising. Because the water is about 110 degrees, it properly wakes up the yeast, allowing it then to consume the sugar as food and then produce gas. The reason why you want the water to be about 110 degrees is to ensure that it actually wakes up the yeast. Otherwise, if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast, and if it's not hot enough, it won't wake it up. Now that your yeast is activated, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil here. And then we have 1 teaspoon of salt, never iodized. And then we want to slowly add in, as we stir it in, the flour. We have about 2 cups of flour here. You'll know essentially once it gets too thick to be able to stir with a whisk is whenever I'm going to take it out and start kneading it. So get about a 1/2 cup in there to start. Start to create some dough. Mix it a little bit more gradually. So now that we added that last 1/2 cup, you can really start to see it clumping together. That's what we want. So we're gonna try our best to work this last little bit of flour in there, and then we're gonna get our hands dirty. So I'm just lightly kneading this, getting all that flour incorporated in there. You want it to be a nice smooth ball. See, we got some nice dough. Again, just gradually add flour as you need it. As you need it. No, I'm not a father, but I got some damn good dad jokes. So what I'm working with here, we're gonna just keep kneading it until all that flour is worked in and it's real smooth. All right, guys, I got this dough exactly where I want it. It's not too sticky, it's just firm enough, but still has a nice softness to it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover it with parchment paper and then hit it with a nice towel. Just lay that right over the top. You want to let this rest for about 20 to 30 minutes in a warm, damp environment so that it stays nice and moist and doesn't dry out while it has the time to rise. All right, guys, so step 2, while the dough is rising, we're gonna go ahead and get working on the korma sauce. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop up 1/2 an onion, cut off the ends of your onion, cut off the skin, chop this bad boy in half, like so. Run through it on the side once. Give it a few slits, and we're gonna want some thin slices on this guy. Hot pan, get about 2 tablespoons of oil in here. Get those onions in there. So I got my burner on about medium-high heat right now. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up some garlic. I got about 4 or 5 cloves here. Actually, it's about 6, but a couple of them are pretty tiny. Pop these. Go to get that skin off real nice and easily. Whoa! All right, we're using 5 cloves of garlic on this one because that just shot away. That was crazy. All right, look at that, already out, nice. We're gonna chop these up nice and fine too. Always make sure to watch the garlic while you cut it. Never take your eye off the knife. You never wanna take your eyes off of what you're doing. That's supposed to be a joke. Garlic, throw that in the pan. There you go. So while it's cooking down, I'm gonna create a tomato sauce that's gonna go into the korma. The head of cilantro, we're gonna throw that into your food processor or whatever you got. 3 or 4 tomatoes here. You can actually just use a can of tomatoes too. That works as well. And so that it blends up and I don't have any problems, I'm gonna hit it with about a tablespoon of olive oil. All right, you just want to pulse this until you have just a nice fine liquid out of it. Like we got it where we want it. Check that out. See See how it just moves around, not too chunky either. That's perfect. We're gonna need 1 lemon as well. Go ahead and chop that guy in half. Now that our onions and our garlic are caramelized, we're gonna go ahead and add in our liquid ingredients. We have 2 cans of coconut milk here, and 2. And then we're gonna add in our tomato sauce that we made as well. Get that poured in. So this is where we get spicy, huh? We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of paprika. Just eyeball that. Hit it with about a tablespoon of black pepper. I got cumin, probably about a teaspoon of cumin. So the secret ingredient, we have my Sicilian blend seasoning. You don't have to do this, but I just think it gives it a nice flavor. We're gonna do about a tablespoon of that. And this is the main stuff. So we're gonna use about a good, probably 2 teaspoons of turmeric. And then you have your curry powder. We're gonna need a good amount of this, probably about 2 tablespoons of curry. That's what's gonna create that real nice color in there. So I'm gonna also add in about 2 tablespoons of sunflower butter. Cashew butter works really well. Or you can even just blend up a whole bunch of cashews and create a nice butter out of it that way. Mix in all these ingredients. I love the color of this. Look at that. So I've got my korma simmering here. I'm gonna go ahead and add in, we got 1 whole lemon. Just gonna squeeze that, season all. We're gonna hit it with 2 tablespoons of sugar. I have here 2 tablespoons of cornstarch dissolved in water. We're gonna slowly stir that in. And that's what's gonna create the thickness in this sauce. Because of that cornstarch, it's just gonna slowly start to get thick. We just have some cherry tomatoes here. Just slice these guys in half long ways. Got ourselves a nice fresh ball of mozzarella here. I'm just gonna cut this into nice slices. And we're gonna lay on top of our pizza. Top of our pizzeria. So behind me, I have my korma simmering. We're gonna let that go on medium-high heat for just about 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and cook up my chicken. With chicken and just about any meat, you wanna let it sit out from the fridge for a little while before you cook it. This is called tempering. The reason being is you wanna make sure that it's able to cook all the way through. I hit the pan with just about a teaspoon of oil. You always wanna have a hot pan. Grab your chicken, lay that in there. I'm gonna hit my chicken with just a little bit of pepper. Got my chicken here. I've let this cook now for about 4 or 5 minutes on each side, medium-high heat. We're just gonna cut some chunks up. Chick-fil-A, got nothing on me. Check this out. This has been sitting now for about 30 minutes. We're gonna unveil it. Get in on this, you ready? Dum, 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 da, dum. Wow, it's a big piece of dough. This is where we're gonna do our pizza making process. Huh? All right, flour up my hands too. We're gonna knead it just a little bit, not too much. We're gonna separate our dough into 2 halves. More flour on here as well. Hands. All right, we're gonna start working this into a nice round circle. Don't be scared to use enough flour, because if this thing starts sticking, then you're in for some real trouble. Allow gravity to kind of do its thing, so hold it from the outside edges. Might throw it down every once in a while, just get a little bit more flour on there, and you can kind of start working it outwards that way too. That's easier for you. Start stretching it out this way. Get your knuckles under it and just start working it. As you can see, I have a nice real thin pizza dough. Nice ladles of korma sauce here. I like a good amount of sauce, but that's also up to you. As far as the crust goes, we're just gonna leave a little bit of the sides exposed. I think that's actually perfect. I got my chicken here. Lay our cheese down on here as well. Just like that. And then we have our tomatoes that we're gonna throw right over the top here. We're just gonna add a little bit more cilantro here on top. So this is a sauce that I like to do. This is literally just olive oil mixed with that Sicilian blend and a little bit of paprika. And we're just gonna spoon this right over the crust so that every single bite of this pizza is gonna be flavorful. So I got my oven sitting at 500 degrees right now. Since I'm just using a normal pan, this thing needs to be really hot. So we're gonna open this guy up, slide that in there real quick. Let that pizza go for about 6 to 7 minutes. If it needs a little bit longer, we can come back and check on it. Otherwise, let's clean up. All right, guys, got my trusty old pan here. If you don't have one of these, get one. If you like to make pizza, these things are amazing. All right, guys, I just pulled this out. Look how delicious that looks. All right, let's get this bad boy cut up. One more meal in the books. I'm so stoked that I get to eat this pizza right now. One last time, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment as well with anything else that you want to see me cook. Appreciate y'all again, and that's a chop.